Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. This is your daily Horoscope for June 5th, 2020. So this is a big day that we're entering into here on the 5th of June. We're entering into an eclipse. So this is the start of this summer eclipse season, which is a very rare eclipse season. We're going to have a 3-part eclipse season. So this is going to be the first part of this eclipse season, which is a full moon penumbral lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. So as you can see here on June 5th, 2020, about 3:10 p.m. is when we have this exact opposition going on here on the East Coast of the moon and the sun. The moon sitting here in Sagittarius and the sun in Gemini. So this is a huge day. This, of course, is a major change that we're entering into. An eclipse season is always dealing with an intense change that needs to be made in our lives. And this is always playing into the lunar nodes as well. Now, something that we are seeing here is that there was no solar eclipse in Gemini, right? We had just a simple new moon in Gemini, and this full moon here in Sagittarius is clearing out that lunar cycle that started off with the new moon in Gemini. And of course, that new moon in Gemini was a very easy new moon that was all about these new beginnings and these fresh new starts coming into our lives, coming off of a very intense full moon in Scorpio, which was a major transformation, a major releasing and purging and cleansing. And so as we're coming into this full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, this is a major moment of release, right? This is releasing your old belief systems, because remember that the South Node is in Sagittarius, where we're having this lunar eclipse happen. And so this is a major release of the old stories, the old beliefs that we have been telling ourselves. And remember that when it comes to the nodes, that the South Node is not a point to get rid of, but it is a point to change and transform from, to reach for that North Node. And so when it comes to this South Node in Sagittarius, there is a big question here of whether our belief systems are positive or negative, for starters, right? So we want to check in and see, are our belief systems something that is positive, something that is beneficial to us, or is this something that is negative, something that is holding us back? And so if the belief system is negative, this is a major time to change around your belief system so that it does benefit you on your path moving forward. If this is a positive belief system, then there is a question of how we are going to reach for this belief, how we're going to bring this into the physical, right? So this is a big time where hoping, wishing, dreaming, believing is not the answer, but it is the cause to the effect. And so this is a time of, again, with that North Node in Gemini, finding the logical steps to bring your hopes and wishes and dreams into the physical. So this is about finding the logical steps, breaking down the big vision, the big goal, the big wish, right? Some of us wishing for the perfect romantic partner, some of us wishing for the new job, some of us wishing for the raise, some of us wishing for more money to come into our lives, some of us wishing for happiness, for betterness, for improvement, right? So whatever it is that we are wishing and hoping for coming into this eclipse season, this is a time of bringing that hope, that wish, that dream into reality by breaking down the vision and coming up with a plan, taking the logical steps to make this your reality. And so it's time to let go of the hoping, the wishing, the dreaming, the believing, the old belief systems and stories that we have told ourselves. And it is time to move towards the truth, the reality, the facts, the details, bringing all of this into fruition into our lives. So this eclipse season is a big, big time of manifestation and a lot of blessings and miracles that can come out of this eclipse season. And to know how this specifically affects your zodiac sign, make sure to check out your horoscope for the month of June. But this is a huge time of pulling in the hopes and wishes and dreams that you have in your life by clearing out the old karma, the old belief stories that are holding us back into these old past patterns and cycles. Right? So big time of clearing out these old stories, especially as this is a brand new timeline here with the North Node being in Gemini. Remember that the North Node is exalted in Gemini. And the North Node, of course, goes back to Vedic Indian astrology of Rahu, the head of the dragon that has this endless hunger for more lessons, more experiences. And that South Node being the body of the dragon Ketu, which is this endless pit that we keep stuffing our fears and our lessons and these old beliefs down into, but not getting any fulfillment or nourishment out of it. So with this North Node, it is exalted here in Gemini, because remember that Gemini is this sign of curiosity, of pulling in new information, new experiences, new conversations, right? It is this intellectual curiosity of wanting to know and wanting to connect. And the South Node is here exalted in Sagittarius because we are hoping and wishing and believing that we are going to get something different out of repeating the same story, the same behaviors, the same patterns, right? So the South Node in Sagittarius is a lesson of consciousness, being aware of your patterns and stories and lessons that need to be changed. North Node in Gemini is of opening yourself up to new opportunities and experiences to change that pattern. So we are in a major karmic timeline of shifting patterns and cycles, moving forward into a new story, a new timeline, a new experience in our lives. And so it is a big time here where the universe is asking us, are you willing to step into this brand new reality, brand new experience that you want to have for yourself? Or are you remaining in the same old stories and patterns? The universe is pulling all of us at this moment into a brand new change, a brand new lesson at this time with this full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. But remember that a lunar eclipse is an intense change that involves releasing, letting go. That solar eclipse, which always happens with the new moon, we're going to see that on the 21st of June here with a new moon in Cancer, is an extreme change from starting something new that you've never done before. So this is a time here of really clearing out the karmic stories and lessons before entering into this new timeline for yourself that is going to happen with this new moon solar eclipse in Cancer. And of course, the last part of this eclipse will be a full moon lunar eclipse in Capricorn that we will see at the beginning of July. And so we are here shifting our timeline, our experience as a whole by letting go of these old karmic stories and lessons and belief systems that we've been holding on to, repeating over and over and over again. And notice here that this full moon is in a trine over to Chiron in Aries. So this is a major time of looking at your old wounds and fears and acknowledging it, acknowledging this area of your life that you need to work on, to grow in, to improve upon. So this is bringing up insecurities. This is bringing up fears. This is bringing up traumatic events. This is bringing up the past. And this is a major test of whether we will repeat the past or not. And so looking at these wounds, these fears, these insecurities that come up here in this major moment is an opportunity for you to let go. And so for those of you who are in this process of grieving, in this process of feeling regret, this process of dwelling in the past, staying stuck in old patterns, keep in mind that this is a time of clearing out these old karmic stories, creating a new story. This is a full moon in Sagittarius. Remember that Sagittarius is dealing with the vision, the story, the belief. And so this is clearing out that old vision, giving us room for a brand new vision, a brand new story to start something new. So this is a very, very powerful eclipse season that we are entering into. And many of you have felt this already with the Venus retrograde Cazimi that happened on the 3rd. So through that Venus retrograde Cazimi was a big realization of what is truly of value, what is truly of worth to you, and what has to go, what has to be burnt out of your life. And so coming into this point here of this eclipse, what is it that needs to be released in your life? What are the old stories? What are the old beliefs that have to go for you to get to where you want to be in your life? And this is in a square over to Neptune, Mars, and Ceres in Pisces. So keeping in mind that if we are in this place of illusions and fears and old stories, old subconscious patterns, right? This is a big part of this full moon lunar eclipse, is your subconscious patterns. Where are the blocks? Where are the fears that need to be worked through here? Because this is Neptune, Mars, and Ceres all together in Pisces. And remember that Neptune is sitting at those last degrees of Pisces, where we're dealing with this very chaotic, impulsive escapism behavior. And Neptune is getting ready to station retrograde here at the end of June. So this is a big time of looking at what are the illusions, what are the fears, what are the stories here that are stopping you from having the experience that you want. Because remember that when it comes to Pisces, a Pisces is the escape out of reality. And this can be for a spiritual, magical, creative experience, or this could be for a purpose of escapism and isolation, removing yourself from the difficult situations that you must face here in reality. And so there's a big question here of what are we doing? Because this is a major T-square that is going on with the mutable energies, the release point being Virgo. Coming back to reality is the answer to this conflict. And with the Sun and Venus here together, it is a big opportunity for you to step into your true value and worth, and to have all that is good in your life, all that you want to experience here. Because remember that Venus is dealing with love, beauty, relationships, attraction, self-worth, money, right? There's a lot here that we can pull into our lives depending on what it is that you want to experience. It's a big moment here where you can create the experience that you want to have. And remember that the sun is consciousness. The sun is that willpower, that self-expression, that self-authority of showing up and being who you are, creating and expressing as who you are. And it is here paired up with this very creative energy of Venus and Gemini, which is coming direct here very soon. And so it's a big time of understanding what it is that you want to create and pull into reality at this time. You have a ton of creative energy. Remember that Gemini rules the hands. This is creative expression that you can use to build and create the life that you want for yourself. Now also, this is a full moon in opposition to Venus. And so it is a release of what you don't love, of what doesn't serve you. Because remember that the sun is with Venus and the moon is the release point here. So what is it that no longer serves you? What is it that doesn't bring you the love, the joy? What is it that isn't worth it staying in your life, right? And that Venus Cazimi on June 3rd was that major moment of the sun heating up Venus in this realization of what needs to be burned out, what needs to be let go of here. What are the bridges that need to be burnt in our lives? So this is a major time of releasing, so that we can make space, make room for what we want to have. Remember that Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. This big, expansive energy of hope, optimism, joy, belief, higher knowledge, and understanding. But do we have room in our lives right now for what we want to have? If you are at full capacity, this is your time to release so that you can make room for the new story of what you would like to have in your life. Now, this is also making a semi-square over to Saturn in Aquarius. And remember that Saturn is in retrograde here. It is going to enter into the sign of Capricorn here very shortly on July 11th. So this is a major time here where Saturn is giving us a sneak peek, a preview of the reality that we are entering into come December. And remember that this reality is all about our responsibility and duty as a collective coming together, supporting one another. This is Saturn in Aquarius. So what is our role in the world? What is our responsibility to the collective? How can we play a role in coming together, uniting as one with this Saturn and Aquarius energy? But the challenge here is, are we focused on a goal, a vision that is far ahead of us without taking the necessary steps? Because remember that Saturn is our reality and Aquarius is dealing with the future. And so, what is your goal? What are you trying to reach? Where are you finding connection in? Where are you trying to find hope in at this time? And making room, making space to experience that in your life. So this is a big moment here with this full moon Penumbral Lunar Eclipse in Sagittarius. And remember that this is not only an eclipse season, this is a retrograde season, and we do have Mercury retrograde coming up very shortly here on June 18th. And this will be a Mercury retrograde in Cancer. So this will be a major time of reevaluating the feeling, the connection. Are you fully connected to your goals? Are you fully connected to the experience? This will be a time to reevaluate and make sure that you are fully connected and invested in what you want to experience and what brings you home and what is fully connected to your soul, your family, your tribe. This is bringing you back to a space of what is of the highest, greatest good to you, and what is of the highest spiritual connection and emotional connection in your life. Remember that this is a North Node in Gemini coming off of a North Node in Cancer, where we had to feel, we had to connect. We had to connect to what the soul wants and what is truly nurturing and fulfilling in our lives. And so this eclipse season is clearing this Cancer Capricorn axis that we came off of, with those nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn earlier on. Right, we had the nodal shift on May 5th. So this is a clearing that is taking place here. And so there's a big question of going back to that North Node in Cancer, South Node in Capricorn, looking back to that time where you letting go of the old constructs. Remember that South Node in Capricorn, we talked about the old reality, the old construct of staying stuck in the same old patterns. And instead moving towards what is of the highest divine connection in your life through that North Node Cancer. And so this is going to bring up those karmic nodes from the previous cycle through this eclipse season, which was dealing with time, right? Letting go of the control, letting go of the construct, moving towards the true deepest connection, which was also about letting go of this desire for things to look a certain way and to be at the top without this true connection to what you are seeking in your life. And we still have these issues that are coming up with the image of how we want it to look with Chiron and Aries that is in this trine to this full moon lunar eclipse. And so what is the way that we want to approach life? Are we going to approach it in a way that we are fully connected, or through this image that we believe that we need to hold? And remember that Chiron is in an opposition with Juno and Libra. And so there's a big question here of whether we are going to commit to the true connection and fulfillment of what we want to experience, or whether we are staying in this place of the fear of how it looks, of how it appears, of how we should enter into the situation. Right, and we talked a lot about that coming up into this eclipse season, where there's a lot of clearing that needs to take place in terms of your appearance, of how it looks, of how you should show up, and instead moving towards this connection that you want to experience in your life. And here in Capricorn, of course, we have Pluto and Jupiter, which are retrograde, still in this conjunction, where this is an explosive transformation that we are going through here. Right? This is a large transformation of our reality, of how we can expand and grow in facing our demons, facing our deepest, darkest fears, facing the pain, the trauma, the past, and allowing ourselves to go through this process of transformation, letting go, evolving, growing into our greatest versions. So this is a huge, explosive transformation that is karmic, that we are all going through here collectively. But there's a question here of whether we are going to enter into this. Because remember that Uranus is in Taurus, where it is the breakdown of our security. It is the breakdown of our stability, of our structure, of our foundation, of our growth. This is shifting us into a new space of what is truly of value and worth to us. And so our old values, our old sense of worth and security is being broken down, destroyed, so that we can evolve. Because remember that Uranus is exalted in Scorpio, so it is at its detriment. It would rather be in mutual reception here in Scorpio, right? Because Uranus is all about these unexpected changes and surprises and breakthroughs and revolution and evolution. Right, so Uranus is here to shake things up. It's here to free us, to liberate us, to rise us up through this chaos, this change, this shift in our reality, in our security, in our foundation. And so this is a big moment of finding a new sense of security, a new sense of value and worth in your life that is beneficial to you in your process of growth, in your process of true love, in your process of making more money, in your process of finding a better job, in your process of getting a promotion, in your process of having your best life. So big question here about what are we going to do to let go of the old stories, the old beliefs, so that we can take the logical steps necessary to get to where we want to go. Because remember that Gemini is a sign that is very scattered, very spontaneous, and gathering all the details and informations. But when it comes to making a choice, a decision, Gemini is very much about getting straight to the point, making a logical choice and decision. So Gemini does not like us to sit here, right, with this North Node in Gemini and the Sun and Venus in Gemini. It does not like for us to sit here and not make a decision. This is all about taking the logical steps and approach to get to where you want to go. Because remember that the two logical signs here are Gemini and Virgo. We have all of this Gemini in the sky here, and we have the release point of this challenge, this T-square that we're going through in Virgo. So the answer is logic. The answer is taking the steps to get to where you want to go. The answer is thinking it out. The answer is communication. The answer is taking the steps to get to the fresh new start that you want to experience in your life. So letting go of the hoping, the wishing, the dreaming, the believing, and looking towards what is logical. How can I get to where I need to be? Writing down your goals, planning it out, taking the steps, getting straight to the point of what you want to experience. Very difficult here as Mercury is in Cancer, though. And so remember that we are very emotional here in terms of how we want to communicate, in terms of how we are thinking. But there is this need to take our emotions, to get to where we want to be logically. And so using all of that Cancerian passion and feeling and desire of that water, that emotion, because remember that Cancer is initiating in feeling. It is a cardinal water sign. And so a lot of us, we like to think of Cancer as more of this passive, standoffish sign. But remember that Cancer is dealing with the energy of the moon that is shifting and feeling. And through these cycles, there is a cycle that is of starting, that is of initiating and taking action through the feeling, through the passion, through the emotion, through the intuition. And so at this time, using your feeling, using your intuition, using your inner guidance, your passion to direct yourself in the direction of where you want to move into in life. And so what are you feeling? What is your intuition telling you? What is your emotional desires? This is a big time to understand what is it that you are emotionally craving. Is this something that is positive and negative, or negative? If this is negative, this is a big time to shift these emotional desires. If this is positive, this is a big time to step into this. Allow your intuition to navigate you in the direction of what you want to experience. And so what are you feeling at this moment? What is your intuition telling you? What are your emotions saying? And what are the logical steps that you can use to execute this feeling and bring it into fruition, bring it into your reality, to feel it, to experience it? This is a path. This is a journey of having a brand new experience of everything that you want in life. This is Sagittarius, right? That we're talking about here with this full moon lunar eclipse. Sagittarius is about having it all, right? We look at the symbol of Sagittarius. It is the archer aiming for the heavens, right? So experiencing it all, having it all, this luck, this fortune, this optimism, this vision, this higher knowledge and understanding, this hope, this belief in a higher power and a higher vision and higher experience in your life. And so during this full moon lunar eclipse, it is a moment of abundance, of having everything that you want by releasing everything that you no longer need. So we are here in this lunar eclipse making room for ourselves to have the best life possible by letting go of everything that no longer serves us. And so big question about what is it that serves you in your life and what is it that doesn't serve you in your life. This is a major shift. This is a major turning point that we're entering into. A big time to experience something brand new in your life. And so there's a question here of how are we going to enter into this brand new life that is waiting for us? So big time to journal, big time to write down your goals, big time to take steps, big time to be straight to the point about what you want to have in your life. Now I also pulled some cards as well for this lunar eclipse, and once again, if you want to see how this affects you specifically for your zodiac sign, whether that be your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, make sure to go ahead and check out your horoscope for the month of June. The first card here is the 9 of Cups in reverse. So this is a very challenging time here where we don't want to face it all. We don't want to lay it all out on the table and completely let go completely express our feelings, completely address the past and the areas where we need to change and improve. Remember that this Nine of Cups, the 9, dealing with the end, this releasing and letting go. So, coming into this experience, many of us having issues with letting go and releasing what no longer serves us. Big problem here coming into this full moon lunar eclipse, where this is a major moment where you must release to make room for the new. Second card here is the Seven of Wands, where we're not willing to fight for our desires of what we want, our passion. This is the Seven of Wands in reverse. Many of us not holding our ground, many of us not fighting for what we want, not putting in the effort for what we're passionate about, what we want to pull into our lives. And Eight of Cups, not even giving ourselves a break, right? Many of us being hard on ourselves. So big question here of whether you're trying to hold on to the weight of the past with the Eight of Pentacles here in reverse, of this not looking good enough, of regrets, of fear, of pain, of trauma that is holding you, that is blocking you from experiencing what you want to have. Last card here, dealing with another 8. Remember that 8 is this number that is connected to power and transformation. And we have the 8 of Swords. Where are you willing to let go of your past challenges and experiences at this time? Some of us are trying to look back at what we did, at what didn't work, at the challenges, at the struggles, and staying and remaining in that. But this is a time for change. It is a time to let go. Last card here being stability, to create a brand new reality for ourselves, to create the brand new foundation, the brand new security that we want to have in our lives. So this is a time about being stable and taking the steps of what you want to experience in reality. Remember that when it comes to the earth signs, we are dealing with reality, right? We are dealing with what is practical, of what is stable, of what we can touch in this tangible reality. And remember that that release point is in Virgo, where Virgo is a lot like clay, right? It is this earth sign that is moldable and changeable, where we have the ability to make improvements and adjustments of changing our reality to the way that we want to have and experience it. And so with Virgo being this mutable earth sign that is the release point of this conflict, this T-square that we are going through, it is a time of shaping and molding your reality into what you want to experience. It is time to serve yourself and to build up the reality that is best for you in your life. Farming this brand new security, this brand new stability, this brand new foundation for yourself. And that was your horoscope for June 5th, 2020 for this full moon penumbral lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. I hope you all enjoyed this. If you like this, feel free to leave a like as well as a comment. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new content. And I want to thank you all once again so much for joining. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.